at my workplace, I got a call from a friend, Shamim, and she said, you know what, Chhitra, can you help contribute to a particular animal case? And I said, sure, let me know what's the problem. And she said, there's this dog, Ruby, who had been raped by 6 men.
Even the educated people feel that it is pap. They feel we are interfering with nature by sterilizing animals. But I want to ask them that aren't you doing family planning? Even that is known as tampering the nature. No, as per nature, every year you should be having 1 child.
Please subscribe to our channel Talky Tales and do not forget to press the bell icon so that whenever we upload a video, you'll come to know.
Hi, welcome to our world of Samovilla Foundation. I am Vandana Das. I am the co-founder of Samovilla. I am a banking assistant in HSBC.
Hi, I'm Chhitra Subramaniam. I live in Bombay. I work in the film industry. I now work with Reliance. I look after creative and production over there.
And my journey in this passionate world started in 2014. When I joined as a volunteer initially. We call ourselves a gypsy shelter because we've been traveling around a lot with our clan. From Marol to Malavli, Malavli to New Panvel, New Panvel to Safale, and now finally to what we are hoping is going to be a final destination here in Palghar.
I've always loved animals, and as a young child I had gone and picked up a stray dog and brought him home, who was of course called Tommy. Tommy being the most favorite name for all dogs at that time. Tommy came to us, and my sister loved cats, so there would always be Tommy and a cat at home. And this journey has been a very fulfilling and very interesting one with Samovilla Foundation, which I'm a co-trustee, I'm a trustee and a co-founder.
My journey is a bit different from the others. I will not lie, I will not say that I have always been an animal caregiver all my life. As a child, I used to pet cats, I loved them a lot. But somewhere in the growing up years, I completely became oblivious to animals around me. It was only when my daughter, who was in school in the 8th standard, she came up to me one day and said that she would like to get home 2 rescued kittens that she found in the colony, and very grudgingly I agreed to it. But that stirred up feelings unknown inside me. And because I did not want this young schoolgirl to come ahead, I opened a Facebook account, I joined, and I became aware of this little community of animal caregiving. And I give full credit to everything. Whatever I am feeling today is all because of what this 12-year-old child did to me. And that's the reason why I always tell parents that please listen. The children are telling you something. They are very much in tune, in sync with nature. So we have to pay attention. Do not try to crub. When they are showing compassion, do not crub it down. Do not make them interested or oblivious human beings.
My son was studying at NUJS Kolkata. He was studying to be a lawyer, and the street next to his hostel, there was this dog who had given a litter of some 8 bachus, and the runt of the litter was lying in the gutter, and her leg had been eaten up by maggots. So my son picked her up, took her to the vet, and the vet said, we've got to amputate the leg. And my son said, please, whatever you can do, don't amputate the leg. So he got 3 operations done, including the maggot cleaning, then took her to his hostel room, which was not allowed, hid her over there in the hostel room for 2 months, quietly went and gave his exams, and his friends started sort of, coming in and looking after Dew, named her Dewdrop, okay? And she had this big cast on her leg and so on and so forth. Saved the leg, and 2 months later he decided to bring her back to Bombay. Finally Air India allows, possibly on one's lap, And he reached the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning for a 6 o'clock flight, and he was really panicked. But I love Air India, I want to say this, because the Air India staff, the lady over there, she said, listen, my duty is over, but I'm going to wait till the captain comes and I'll get him to agree to take due on the lap. So in Air India, there is a rule that if your pet is 5 kilos or less, then it's at the discretion of the captain to to allow for the pet to be taken on the lap. The captain was so kind. He said, yeah, please take her on the lap. Madam came on Maitreyi's lap, quiet. She was Miss Poise, okay? And she landed over here. The minute she came into the house, of course, she had stolen our hearts. Now she's the empress of the house. She allows us to stay in the house, okay, in our own house. Having said that, she's a Bengal tigress in dog's clothing, right? So. And when the trust was being formed and we had applied and registered, the charitable commission didn't give us the registration for some 3 years. Yeah, for some 3 years. So I think somebody out there was looking for some underhand money. And my son said, he stood over there and he said, if you're asking for money, you're not going to get it because I'm a lawyer and I'm going to report you. Okay? I'm going to go to the police and I'm going to report you. And they quickly, he stood there and 3 years we had been waiting, we had been pursuing, we had been pushing through another lawyer, and Maitreyi came and got us the papers that day, which is yeah. So
every aspect we have, all the trustees have done with the equal passion. It is not that we hired somebody to do this. So everything holds a special meaning for us. And everything from S to A of Samovilla is what is each one of us is involved in. That is why it is a very special place for us.
So one day at my workplace, I got a call from a friend, Shamim, and she said, you know what, Chhitra, can you help contribute to a particular animal case? And I said, sure, let me know what's the problem. And she said, there's this dog, Ruby, who had been raped by 6 men, and she is in the hospital, and a lady called Nidhi Ganguly has been looking after her and taking care of Ruby's needs and hospital bills and so on for about 2 months, and now she's really at the end of her tether. I said, I've never heard of anything quite as shocking and as sad as this and as disgusting as this. So I decided to call up, picked up, got some money organized. I mean, that's not the big thing. But I called up Nidhi Ganguly and I said, Nidhi, tell me something. When the doctors said to euthanize Ruby because of how bad she was, what is it that made you want to continue to keep her alive and give her treatment? And she said 2 things, which I will never forget. She said, I saw in Ruby's eyes the will to live. And what I wanted to do for her is to bring faith in her, okay, back into her for humanity. And I think, that really, at one level broke me, and at one level I said, Nidhi, I'm with you. After about 2-3 days, very sweetly, Nidhi came, she had made some Malayali mithai, and she came to my office and gave it to me. And that's how I met Nidhi. Nidhi is the one who started, the cat shelter, and which then Vandana was the volunteer.
So one of our trustees, Nidhi Ganguly, she started the shelter in Marol on a call from one of the NGOs who had 2 special need kittens. So because she could not bring those kittens home, she went down and she called up a broker and she booked a small 1-room house where she sat and she would take care of the kittens during the day. So this is how the journey started. The word of mouth many rescuers contacted her, and that is how we started as a cat shelter initially. And when we moved from Marol to Malavli, we had around 40 cats with us. At Malavli, we had the open space, the front yard and the backyard, and so we started welcoming dogs also into our shelter. That is how dogs came into what was formerly only cat shelter, and then after that we had to move to New Panvel. See, there are a lot of challenges of every area. There is a water problem, there is, the residents not very happy about having a shelter. Nobody is ever happy with people showing compassion towards animals. So we have to move in search of that perfect place always. And we moved to New Panvel, which was on the invite of a former the landowner in Marol. He himself invited us to his farmhouse. He said, I have got this place which I can give you all on rent. But then that was very close to the Adivasi village, and they created a little trouble for us, because they do not want the dogs. And wherever there is dog, there is barking, because you know how the Indian dog is. He is a watchdog mentality. So with every sound, they tend to bark to warn their owners that there is something suspicious happening around.
And what happened was that to move out of there, we had to, because they came with knives and things, and they started attacking our people and said, listen, we're going to harm you, and the animals will kill the animals if you don't move out of here.
And then at Safale, we were invited here. We found this place in Palghar. All the permissions were taken by the Gram Panchayat also, and then we moved in here. And now we have around 40 cats and 25 dogs, including the Palghar rescues, whom we take care of, and then we release back once they are fine.
There are so many challenges when you're running a shelter. It's one of those most difficult things, I think, because running a shelter for animals is such a niche thing. It's not in the consciousness or awareness of human beings, right? People look after people, and people don't even look after people. Where are they going to look after animals, correct? So if you look at maybe there's not even 1% of the world's population would be completely focused on human care. I mean, there would be everybody, a lot of them love animals, but how many of them will really step out and start doing things? It's very tough. How many would support? Very tough, very few. So the challenges, of course, that we have is, one is that running it, but Vandana does a great job, and with Lynette on a day-to-day basis looking after this place and the staff. The second challenge is funding. The medical costs tend to become very heavy, and we need a doctor all the time. The hospital bills tend to be there. You need an ambulance, you need special need medicines, and so on and so forth. So that becomes a costly thing. But we've started this because of that, and Samovilla Foundation is about taking in animals who are senior, unadoptable, fragile, and special need animals.
So these are the domestic community animals who always live and depend with the human race. So when they are not fit to survive on their own on the streets, it is only right that we have to take them into our, take them and give them a safe haven where they can survive and live. And it has always been our endeavor to give them a clean premises, loving care, medical attention, timely food, and at Samovilla Foundation we have been very successful in doing this.
मुझे शौक है, मेरे को कुत्ता बिल्ली, मेरे घर पे भी कुत्ते बिल्ली है। चलो मेरे को पसंद है और उसकी सेवा भी होती है, उसके से मुझे बहुत मिलता है।
So what we intend to do now in Palghar is, number one is that only when we are able to give all these facilities will the people of Palghar be open to reporting cases on their own. And then we need to have a OT, room, quarantine room for those rescues of the Palghar, and also start sterilization by gaining confidence of the people. Because till today, even the educated people feel that it is PAP. They feel we are interfering with nature. by sterilizing animals. But I want to ask them that aren't you doing family planning? Aren't you determining that you want to have 2 children or 1 child? Why are you doing that? So that your care for your animal, for your children, your care for the future, the finances and all, you are planning. Even that is known as tampering the nature. No, as per nature, every year you should be having 1 child. But you are not doing that. So the same goes for animals. If we are not able to give them a dignified life, the ones who are existing, let us sterilize them and give them freedom, so that let them stay there. And it sounds very sad. The world is a beautiful place because of animals and birds. We humans are the ones who are doing the ugly things. Mr. Bean was found total skin and bones. Total skin and bones. I don't know what he went through and how people ignored him, I do not know. He was just on the verge of dying, a pack of bones, when the rescuer brought him home. And they found, though he recovered his health, he seemed to be having a neurological issue. Probably that is what made him, he was not adept to hunting for his own food. So he has landed here, he's fine, happy, but as you can see, know how he is.
He likes tripods and camera equipment.
Yes. Rani, yes, Rani was a puppy in a feeder's lane in Vasai. She had an accident in which her hand had to be amputated, and they brought her. They thought, because dogs generally under a feeder's care, an amputated dog can survive, they put her back in her area. But within a few days she had another accident in which her eyes came out. So now with one hand gone and one eye again gone, it was a little difficult for her to survive. So that is when they approached us and we took her in. She had skin infection when she came, but now you can see that she's Rani. She's stolen our hearts, and she's our, she's our ambassador reception, one of the reception committee who comes to receive people. Harsh was again just 1.5-month-old puppy when with a bigger dog attack, his stomach had been ripped apart. So his rescuer had admitted him to Ahimsa, and they found that he would not be able to walk anymore. So he came to us. He's a very fragile dog. That is the reason why we keep him indoors and separate. He has prolapse very often. We did a X-ray done, and we found that all his insides are upside down, not the way that it should be. That is the reason why we are a little apprehensive of putting him on cart wheels. So he's happy this way. We are happy with seeing him. He's been with us for 7 years now, and we think we are doing everything right for him. Hero story is something which is happening with many dogs in Mumbai. Relocation. Hero is a very old dog, and when he developed eye infection, since COVID, people have been really wary about animals for no reason, and they relocated him to a different area. And the dogs there were attacking him, and because he could not see, he landed up in a gutter, not knowing what to do, where to go. The feeder, kind feeder, picked him up and put him for treatment, put him for foster care, and then approached me. And I asked the team, and immediately the team said that no, if not Hero, then who else? He belongs to us. So this is how Hero has come to us. He's a big time foodie, and as I told you, he doesn't like to be in a kennel. He wants to be free, and we say, okay, so be it, Lord. We are here to serve you. So Mowgli was taken for dead by the residents, and his body was lying there for days. It was only until a passerby noticed that they were still breathing that he contacted Lynette, and we brought him here. He took 15 days before he could actually move his limbs, and what the vet told us that he has had tick fever, because of which he lost his vision and not able to get water and food. So that is what he gained unconsciousness. Mowgli is regaining good health now with us. He's regaining his sight also slowly. He's growing stronger by the day, and I think he will do well.
Coming to what does Samovilla Foundation mean? How did the name come about? It's my favorite story. And the story is that Samovilla is a Slavic goddess of the forest who looks after animals and takes care of animals. So she is a Slavic goddess of the forest. Sam was the first cat that Nidhi adopted, and so the shelter, was started by, you can say, Sam was the first baby. So Sam O Villa. So these are the two things.
I would like to thank each and every one of y'all for subscribing our channel, for liking and for commenting, and for all your suggestions that y'all have given us. We really appreciate all your active participation for Talky Tales. Thank you.